This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is Not America's Sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
This is Noelle Summit, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show with Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. The trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube. Sponsored by Rogue Energy and Fair One. I'm of course your host, James J, and it is a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the Marionette Noelle Summit.
Hello, Wrestling with Entertainment. How's it going?
Well, good. Well, on this side, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. It's been a busy week of shows. Doing 4 shows. We did 5 shows in 4 days this weekend.
Wow. That's a lot of wrestling.
Yes. I'm really thankful to be able to do it. I wrestle with Rocky Mountain Pro, and we're based in Inglewood, Colorado. I've been with them for 2 years now, and the things we're able to do because of the company and Matt Yaden, who's head of the company, is just astounding, and I'm so thankful to be able to start my career here.
And where can we find you on social media?
On social media, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you search Noelle Summit, I'll be the first account to pop up, and you can go ahead and give me a follow.
And do we have merchandise?
I do. So on Pro Wrestling Tees, I have my Asylum merchandise. It's just Pro Wrestling Tees, the Asylum, and we have 3 t-shirt designs up there. One with my face on it, and then we have 2 others with me, Christy Jane, Salem Wolf, and we're all on the others.
Alright, and you don't have to even go looking for those links. All of the links to all her social media and her merchandise will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox. Alright, and now you mentioned it, you work for Rocky Mountain Pro, and you do have a big upcoming match against Lilith Grimm, no?
Yes, I faced Lilith Grimm at our recent pay-per-view, Peak of the Pact. It's our pay-per-view before Milestone, which is our biggest pay-per-view of the year. The outcome didn't go exactly how I wanted it to, but it was an awesome match. Lilith Grimm is one of the best workers on the indies right now, and it was a pleasure to be in the ring with her.
Oh yeah, and it was I believe that was the first time you wrestled her in this rendition of yourself, and you kind of brought out, the darker side of Lilith to put it like
yes. We saw the demon come out in that match. I've wrestled Lilith before, as when I was first starting out, but now that I'm with the Asylum and I'm with Salem Wolf and Christy James, I seem to bring out a little bit of crazy in people when I wrestle them.
Well, can you tell us about the transition from the juvenile delinquent to the Marionette?
So funny enough, the Marionette was actually meant to be a one-off character, just one character I did for a specific match. But when I went out there and I performed, you know, people were so impressed with what I had done, we decided to turn the character into a long-term thing. So, you know, starting out as just like a typical white meat baby face, happy to be here, and then transitioning to a scary monster heel was definitely a challenge, just because bad guys and good guys, they have different roles in the match, and learning your role it takes time, even as a new good guy. But I can say that now that I've worked both good guy, bad guy, heel, babyface, what have you, I feel like it gives me a better understanding of wrestling as a whole, like why matches go a specific way and why, you know, things are supposed to happen. I think now that I'm a heel, if I were to go back babyface, I think I'd be 10 times better than I was when I first started out as the juvenile delinquent.
So was the marionette was something that was brought to you, not something you came up with?
Yes, it was brought to me by Salem Wolf, who Chris de la Vega. He does a lot of the production and he does some of the lighting for Rocky Mountain Pro.
Okay.
And he wrote the one-off character, and then when he saw how well I performed with the character, he wrote more for me. And it's been awesome, just, you know, being given kind of like, I felt like I was given kind of like a blank coloring sheet, and then I was able to go ahead and fill in the lines with whatever I wanted. So I kind of had a base, and then I got to fill in, you know, I bringing the marionette to life was definitely something that was so awesome that I got to experience. It was helpful having that base that Salem gave me, and then being able to like kind of work it how I wanted to. I think it was just a great experience, and it was a great learning opportunity.
Now, I do have to ask: is it easier to wrestle in the dress rather than the cargo pants?
Yes, the cargo pants. So a funny story about that, actually. The day of my in-ring debut, I still did not have pants, and I was freaking out. I went to Goodwill. I think it was like 8 a.m. The show was call time for the show was 12, and I'm just like rummaging through the racks, and I find these camo cargo pants, and I was just like, you know what, these will work. They ended up being a couple sizes too big. So I remember when I first started out, I was tying them with shoestrings. I was before I even got a belt. But I would definitely say it is easier to wrestle in the dress than the cargo pants, just because you have a lot more of a range of motion in the dress. You know, you can lay your kicks in a little bit better. It's really nice.
And if you do ever go back to the cargo pants, as a heel, you could hide things in the pant pockets. You know,
Exactly. Exactly. I miss those pockets, I will tell you. They definitely come in handy now.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, we've been talking about Salem. Can you tell us about your stable mates in the asylum, Salem Wolf and Christy James?
So Salem Wolf is on screen. He is the scary madman, the scary madman of the asylum. But off screen, he is incredibly talented. He's incredibly helpful with the production side of things. The reason the asylum is presented in such a way is because of him, and I've been very, very lucky to be able to benefit off of that. So I'm very, very thankful to Salem. Not only does he play his character on screen really well, he plays his role off screen even better. As for Christy James, it's just been an honor to learn from a wrestler of her caliber.
Oh, yeah.
She's been all over. She's been to Mexico, to Japan, all across the United States, and just being able to listen to like her wisdom and her tips, and being able to ask a woman, an older woman in the business who's, you know, done things, been there, done that, you know, for her advice for a younger woman coming up in the business. I think it's incredibly beneficial, and I'm so thankful to be able to learn from her.
You know, it is quite impressive that the asylum even got Christy James because, you know, like you said, she's a high caliber wrestler, and now, you know, you're essentially in a faction with her, you're teaming with her too.
Yes.
That being said, what's a pet peeve about both of them that you just don't understand?
I would probably say my pet peeve is Salem sometimes has trouble being on time. You know, when you're in the asylum and you have bodies to move and someone to stab, you know, you got to stay on time. You can't be late. So that would probably be my biggest pet peeve about Salem. You think it would be the women in the group making us late, but no, it's him.
And Christy?
And Christy, sometimes she wears pigtails, and you know what? Pigtails are my thing.
Ah. She's still in the gimmick. Alright. You know, you mentioned that you just did five events in 4 days, and I know that I do know that Rocky Mountain does do weekly tapings. Do you feel like, you know, because Rocky Mountain does you know, weekly shows rather than, you know, monthly shows, that you might have a bigger advantage on other other wrestlers that, you know, only do like twice weekly or monthly or something like that?
100%, because, you know, we're doing TV once a week. We have our weekly shows, Ignition, every Thursday, that we stream them on YouTube. And to be able to do that, we do it. You know, it's the whole production. You know, we have a production team. Our wrestlers are ready. You know, we're doing TV. We have times. We stick to our times, and it is beneficial because not only I wrestle. If I just did Ignition for a month, I'd still wrestle 4 times a month. And some people don't even get to wrestle once a month. So I'm very thankful and very glad that I get to benefit from the system Rocky Mountain Pro has created.
I mean, not to mention that you have some pretty impressive female talent in Rocky Mountain as well.
Yes. Could you say that one more time?
Oh, I said, not to mention that Rocky Mountain Pro has some very impressive female talent on the roster.
Yes. Rocky Mountain Pro, I think, is a hidden gem when it comes to female talent, you know, past and present. We have had so many amazing women come through our ranks. Of course, Unholy Trinity, Reygan Grimez comes to mind, Rochelle Riveter, who I had my first match with, Ali Gatto, Bentley Powell, Lilith Grimm, Lola the Adventurer, all these women, all these talented women, you know, that I've gotten to learn with. You know, the 3 women that really helped me when I was coming up in my first year were Lola the Adventurer, Lilith Grimm, and Reygan Grimez, and I was so thankful to be able to learn from them because they are extremely talented, world state traveled too, you know?
Right. And yeah, I'm and like you mentioned it, Riveter, you know, obviously not a small name, and that was your first match.
Yes.
So
That
continue.
that was, you know, and that was something I was very thankful with, because when you go into your first match, you want to be with somebody who knows what they're doing, and Rochelle definitely knows what she's doing. I think she is probably one of the best women's wrestlers to come out of Colorado, easily.
Oh yeah.
And you know, every time I was in the ring with her, I knew I was in safe hands. And as somebody who is having the first match, that's something that kind of soothes that first match anxiety, knowing, okay, even if I mess up, they know what they're doing, you know?
Right. So you're saying the mom took care of you?
Yes, the mom took care of me.
Can you tell us about wrestling a crazy lady with no bones with a busted shoulder?
That was a match for the record books, at least my personal Noelle Summit record books. I wrestled Reygan Grimez in one of her last matches on Ignition, and I had a busted shoulder. And if you know anything about Reygan Grimez, she was the best. When I say Rochelle was one of the best, Reygan is the best to come out of Colorado. You know, first Lock Etch champion. I can't say enough good things about her, but that match was a tough one, and that match made me realize that I had a toughness that I really hadn't tapped into, because no matter how bad my shoulder was hurting, you know, I didn't want the crazy lady to get one up on me again.
How did you injure your shoulder?
I injured my shoulder. I spiked it in training. If anyone who's ever wrestled knows, legal rolls, you roll off your shoulder, and when you're taking an arm drag, sometimes people can pull you down, and I was working with someone who was a little bit newer, and they pulled me down. It wasn't too bad. It was just kind of that I'm gonna let this rest for a couple days.
Oh, okay. Alright. Now the face paint that you've been doing, are you doing that yourself, or is somebody else doing that for you?
Yes, I do that myself. I'm a huge Insane Clown Posse fan. I'm a juggalo. I don't care who knows. So I take a lot of inspiration from Juggalo face paint and put it into the Marionette's face paint.
I did notice that, in the cheeks, you usually have either like a number or a letter. I noticed that there was a 4 and an M, I believe, in one. Is there any
Yes.
significance to the numbers and letters that you put on your cheek?
I mean, I'll always do an M for the Marionette, or I'll do an A for the Asylum, or I'll even do an N for Noelle. And of course, I might do 666 because the Asylum is hell, So it's really what I'm feeling. It's really I think the most creative part of my character is the face paint, because I never really go in with a plan. It never looks 100% the same. It always looks a little bit different.
Is there any future plans and different ideas for upcoming matches?
Yes, there is a ton. I have a ton of new things I'm working at as the Marionette, from moves to merchandise. I know I might be wrestling. You probably are going to be able to catch me this Thursday on Ignition, and then June 10th in Utah for STF Pro. I'll be wrestling there as well.
And you're wrestling in Washington as well, no?
Yes, May 20th.
All right. And any plans on who you're wrestling on in those shows?
I'm not sure quite yet, but I'm sure whoever it is, they should stay prepared. The Marionette is not somebody you should take lightly.
Now, is it like a gratifying thing that, this version of yourself, is getting exposure, is getting eyes on you, and you're getting booked outside of, Rocky Mountain?
Yes, it's something that I'm very thankful for. It's also a little bit overwhelming. I'm only 18. I started wrestling when I was 16. So to kind of be, in your first year and a half, you're just kind of swimming around. You're a white meat baby face. You're just kind of like happy to be there, and then they're like, oh, turning you heel, and then you kind of just like it's like a rocket ship to the moon. It really expanded what I knew of wrestling, because for a very long time it was just Rocky Mountain Pro for Noelle, and now the doors are opening up to Washington, to Utah, to maybe even Vegas soon, you never know.
I imagine Vegas would be fun, but you have to wait a couple of years to experience that fun.
Yes, I would.
Now, you said that, you've only been in pro wrestling for like 2 years. And this Marionette character is still relatively new.
Yes.
How are you measuring your growth? Are you going year by year, or are you going from, when you were Noelle Summit to now, this new character, Noelle the Marionette?
It was definitely just my my quality in matches. I'll be the first to admit, when I started out, it didn't click very soon. It was definitely a process to, like, when I was the juvenile delinquent, things came a lot slower. But when I was the Marionette and we kind of turned up that aggression a little bit, things started to click, like, right off the bat. And it's basically just every match, I feel like I do something a little bit better. There's definitely things I can work on, but every match, you get a little bit better. There's one thing you always do a little bit better.
Now, I think that's a good time for our next segment. Noelle's Summit's Bizarre Adventure. Your pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are about to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits the description?
So it was my first wrestling road trip, and I was in the car with Lilith Grimm, Reygan Grimez, and Rochelle Riveter, and we were doing a show in Grand Junction, Colorado, which is about a 5-hour drive from Denver.
Okay.
Well, we were still in state. It was my, I was just happy to tag along with the girls. I'm this little 16-year-old with these cool older people, and I'm excited to go. But on our way back, the car we took broke down. So it was the middle of the night. We were somewhere. All I remember, it was like somewhere in the woods, and the car is dead, and some people are freaking out, some people are keeping it together, and I was just like sitting in the back with a big smile on my face, because I was just like, I'm just having fun. I'm just happy to be here,
So the car broke down.
Yes, the car broke down. It wouldn't start, so it was about an hour of panic until we were able to get it to start.
Okay, so somebody was able to make the car start.
Yes, Lilith thankfully was able to somehow make the car start. I don't quite remember how she did it, but I do remember we got home about, I want to say at 5 a.m., but we got home. I
feel like she put her welding skills to her forging skills.
She did. I hope she did. I think she definitely did. Yes.
Speaking of Lilith Grimm, you were involved in no context tweets.
Yes.
Do you remember the context of your no context tweets?
If you read them to me, I might be able to.
Okay, the one was, that match was before he died? No, it was after.
So we were driving to Utah, me, Lilith, and the tag team of Eric Angel and Elias, the Pitbulls, who awesome guys. And we were talking about Eddie Guerrero, and we're on the road, it's early, I'm kind of fuzzy brained, and they brought up a match. It was, I believe it was Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero, or some match like that, and I was like, did that happen before he died or after? And it was just a total slip of the mouth, just a funny, it popped the boys in the back, so.
the other one you were involved with was, I'll wear a whole ass sword. Stop hitting me.
So at Rocky Mountain Pro, I'm kind of infamous for not wearing whole shirts. I'm a proud Gen Zer, so I love small shirts, big pants. But what Lilith especially likes to do, if I have an exposed stomach, chances are I'm gonna get chopped right in the stomach.
Ooh. Didn't take Lilith for a stickler for whole ass swords.
Yes, definitely not.
Okay. Now,
That's Kenny, bro. It's Kenny all the way.
you was in WWE 2K22. Somebody made you in the game. What does
Yes.
that mean to you? Being, created in, obviously the biggest wrestling game there is.
It's just it's one of those things that's like you as a wrestling fan, you grow up playing those video games, and now that me as a wrestler, I'm in those video games, because that's how I got into wrestling, was through the video games. So just being able to see that and play as myself it's just so cool, because it's like, I can't wait until I actually get into a game, for real.
Right. What game did you start on?
So me and my brother would play SmackDown versus Raw 2009 religiously, like every day after school in 2012. And that's where our love of wrestling kind of formed, because eventually we were like, oh, we can play the video games, now we can watch it on TV.
Right, because that's that is a new topic, that people have played the video games and then they realize, there are actually real people that these people are based off of.
Yes.
I remember 2009. That was a good one.
It was definitely a good game to get started on.
I believe the one thing in that game that really popped me was that Jeff Hardy had the pacemaker.
Yes, I do remember that. I do.
Yeah. Alright. What's the Marionette's favorite doll?
The Marionette's favorite doll would probably be a Bratz doll, because if you saw my encounter with Brittany Brooks, you would know that I don't really appreciate Barbie dolls.
Shout out to Brittany, friend of the show. So it's safe to say you won't be go seeing the Barbie movie coming out?
If they made a Bratz movie, maybe, but not a Barbie girl.
Let's go to the philosophy. Well, let's say they're making a movie about Noelle. It's a big production. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on the Noelle Summit movie soundtrack?
Probably Cemetery Girl by Insane Clown Posse.
Okay.
Probably followed by Living Dead Girl by Rob Zombie, of course.
Okay.
And then just something fun to change it up. Probably She's Kerosene by the Interrupters.
Okay. That's a solid 3 picks.
Yes.
Do you lock it in?
Do I lock it in? Of course I do. Always.
Now that we got the soundtrack down, time for casting.
Boy.
Who plays Noelle, and you can't say yourself because you are obligated to make a Stanley-esque cameo?
I would probably then give the role to my little sister, just because she looks exactly like me.
I love that pick. That's a good pick. And who would be? Every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be 3 people in your movie, and who would play them?
Um, 3 people in the movie. It would probably be the women that I started with: Lilith Grimm, Reygan Grimez, Lola the Adventurer. Who would play who? Who would play Lilith? I just think Lilith's so iconic. She's got to play herself. um, as for the other 2, I know she's gonna love that I say this, but if we could resurrect Selena from the dead, I would have Selena play Lola.
Okay.
And then for Reagan, like I said, she's just like Lilith, kind of one of a kind. So she'd play herself.
Alright. Now, I'm curious, because, your Noelle Summit. Did you pick Summit because you're Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling? So if it's Rocky Mountain, you're the Summit?
No. My last name was actually came up by another wrestler. I wasn't quite sure what to do for the last name, so another wrestler I trained with came up with it for me.
Oh, okay. And of course, the movie sounds incredible. I'm definitely buying a ticket to see Lilith Grimm act. So you could pre-order the tickets now.
Yes, sir.
Alright. On to a controversial subject, always. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
No pineapple on pizza. Pineapple on pizza will get you beat up in the asylum.
Wow. No love for pineapple in the asylum.
No love for pineapple.
Okay. Definitely don't order it in the asylum. Alright. What's your spirit Pokemon?
Say it again?
What's your spirit Pokemon?
My spirit Pokemon will probably be a Squirtle.
Definitely respect the OGs here. Now we love the late great Tracy Smothers. Do you
Yeah.
know the acronym for THUG? THUG.
THUG. The hate you give, right?
I love that you tried to guess, but that is incorrect. T is for terrible, H is for hot, U is for ugly, and G is for jail. Cause a Doug can't spell.
Okay.
Yes, love the late great Tracy Smothers, trying to keep her memory alive. And the weirdest question you'll be asked in a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would you ever consider wrestling in Raw? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual Raw.
I'll try anything once, so why not?
Alright. Well, just for context, there's this wrestler named Psycho Mike that wrestled in actual Raw for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match. An Iron Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
Say it again?
He wrestled, there's this wrestler named Psycho Mike that wrestled The Rock for over 15 minutes in a match that was an Iron Man match that lasted for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what? That's impressive. That is quite impressive. He should be very proud of himself.
I'm not proud enough he didn't win.
Oh, that's too bad. I was rooting for him.
Well, he tied The Rock, but the Rock was the champion, so he retained.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So there is another match. Hopefully there's another match down the line, but haven't got there yet. Alright. On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I think realistically, I would like to see myself maybe have worked for some of the better known promotions in Colorado, like Triple L, and then just making a splash, being more well known in 5 years.
I love how broad that is. You're not, setting anything up. It's just being more well known.
Exactly. In wrestling, I feel like you really have to. You got to be realistic, and you can't set yourself up for disappointment.
Right. And what's a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what Noelle is all about?
Probably the match where Reygan Grimez kicked out my shoulder.
Can we find that on YouTube?
Yep, you can find it on YouTube under Rocky Mountain Pro.
Is it just a singles match, or is it like an episode?
It's an episode. I wish I could remember the date, but if you go back into our Ignition live streams, you should be able to find it.
Okay. Well, I will find it, and I will put it in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox.
Awesome.
And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
Okay.
This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see you really well. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Daniel Bryan Danielson.
Worst wrestler.
Worst wrestler of all time, Jackie Gator.
That's the first time we've actually had Jackie's name said on the show. You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
My opponent would be Gail Kim.
Okay. If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Sexy Boy by Shawn Michaels.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is...
Real.
We would have also accepted taste great on toast. Squash. Vegetable or fruit?
Squash, I would say that's a match.
I will accept that answer. New Japan wrestler Taichi. His ring gear gets smaller every year and really lost himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
If I can see more than a little cheek, you gotta take it to your gear maker and fix it.
So just like 20%.
Yeah. No, I would even say 10%.
10% cheek. Gotcha. Alright, and the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
I have not. Not yet.
And that is the correct answer. And that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much, Noelle, for coming on and doing this with me.
Of course, it was a pleasure.
Absolutely. And, I definitely would love to talk to you again once you get rack up those victories and you get that title.
Yes, I would. Let's make it a date.
You're on. And until then, where can we find you on social media anymore?
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are all under Noelle Summit, and you can find me there, and you can find where I'm wrestling next.
And and your merchandise as well.
Yes. My merchandise, Pro Wrestling Tees / The Asylum.
And you don't even have to go looking for those. You don't have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links will be in the description of the video below or on YouTube. Hashtag simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you're on. You have no excuse. Buy a damn shit.
He's right. Listen to him, or the asylum's gonna get you.
Yeah. And of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, go on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this was sponsored by Real Energy and Real Energy Coffee. Join us tomorrow as we interview the founder of Smash Wrestling, Sebastian Suarez. And of course, next Tuesday and Wednesday for an interview. You can follow the show at Wrestling with Eve, but on Twitter and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. And follow me personally at JamesC993. Alright, Noelle, when I say wrestling with, you say entertainment.
Gotcha.
For always special guest Noelle Summit, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.